Oh God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Welcome to the podcast
yeah.
today. You know, everything's included, all mistakes and everything, live in effect. You're dealing with DJ's Fresh Fades and my boy the FX, one of the most greatest up and coming artists, content creation, just everything.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate.
Yeah, but
Yeah, hold on. Give me a second. I'm still trying to get everybody linked in on the live right now. So I'm on Instagram. I'm trying to get the links posted. Just give me a minute.
yeah, you're dealing with two introverts today, so it is what it is. I just gonna have to deal with it. You feel me? You feel me?
I mean, we live though. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's like, hold on. You gotta make sure everybody get it once they go live. So give me just a second.
And much love and respect all. First giving honor to God. A lot of people don't want to give him his grace and his big up. It wouldn't be me, wouldn't be no me or us without him. And yeah, I just want to say that to go ahead and start out. And I'm not no uber religious person or nothing like that, but I am very spiritual and I do have my own way of thinking. And we all have trigger points and stuff like that. We're just gonna learn how to deal with them today. Um, yeah, and we're talking about basically today is maximizing our life force energy and how we monetize that and things of that nature. Let's see. Now, if this thing let me get in here like I want to, maybe I have to turn it sideways. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, let me know when you're ready to get it cracking.
Yeah, I'm definitely ready to get. Hey, how can I turn my input volume on here up?
Uh, I have no idea, bro.
It should be like one of those knobs.
I think it's on maximum, bro. To be
They're
honest.
all on max.
Hey, man, this is our first actual live stream together.
Yeah, yeah,
Usually, this is my extraordinary
yeah, yeah,
cameraman,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
videographer, um,
Whoa, 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 whoa.
whatever it is. And
All types, all types. All right, I found mine's. You want me to adjust yours?
how'd you do that? Let me see.
Keep talking to yours.
Yeah, I think I'm on max.
You're on max.
I hear me.
All right,
Yeah, I
I
hear
hear
me.
me for sure too.
All right, man.
All right, all right.
Yeah. So, the monetizing creative energy is basically what we're trying to do. As we know that the world is constantly changing, things are rapidly declining or inclining in some people's life, and in some people's life is rapidly declining. There's an old system and an old way of doing things. As we all know, this is like year one in the cycle. If you know anything about, what's it called?
Numerology, numerology.
Numerology. Last year was about closing out things and shedding things that meant good, and just bringing a whole bunch of endings, and also revelation of showing who's actually with you, who's actually supporting you, and being able to understand and notice how to deal with those things. But in efforts of um, you know certain events that went on along in my life and along the path of getting to this point, um, you get to a certain place where you can kind of realize like what you need to do to keep certain things out of your way. Because if you're trying to be creative and you're trying to find a way to make money
Yeah.
um, without using the oligarchical systems that are in place, it's very hard when people start to see you start doing something that's not normal, or going against the current of things, because everything is our energy is current. They
Hmm.
tend to resist because usually what they know is the way that they built their lives off of, knowing that these things are in place.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that goes on on the scene, and then there's stuff that goes on behind the scene. Okay. We're not going to elaborate as much on that today. What we're talking about is individual growth, right?
Right.
Um, Basically, everybody gets up every day and it's a hustle and bustle. You can see that by way of the traffic. You know, which is also another current if you really think about it.
Yeah.
Just like money is currency, you know? So if everybody's in a rat race, so to speak, and all going in one direction at one time, if someone was to go against that current, it would be abnormal and not accepted. And we're here today to talk to those people that are going, you know, in the opposite direction, trying to create a path for them to create means of freeing themselves. Long story short, man, we just have a series of questions that we're going to go over. It's not going to be a long live stream today. Um, my boy is making it possible because without him there will be no me. Without me, hey, who knows? But at the end of the day, we are looking for like-minded individuals that want to come along with our journey. And if you want to involve yourself in your own content creation, or you want to elaborate on what we're putting out, you can hit me up at DjsFreshFadez at gmail.com. That's DjsFreshFadez at gmail.com. Where can I find you at?
You guys can find me on all platforms at the FX TheFFEX. All platforms: Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube, the whole nine.
Right. And I also own a page that is the shop with DJ's Fresh Fades and friends. This is one of my friends right here, very close to me. We happen to both be Aquariuses, so we don't like constraints and confines. We got to do what we got to do at the end of
Yeah,
the day to make money, but we have so much to offer to the public, to ourselves, and to our family members, and so on and so forth, that sometimes it seems like we're trying to be a problem in the system, or a problem when it comes to, why won't you just do what everybody else do? Well, we weren't meant to do that. You know what I mean?
nah,
Like, we're here to be the leaders of the new school, you know? And if you understand, like, everything has a origin, it has an ascent, and it also has a descent, and then it gets scrapped, and then they bring in the new. This the new, okay? But once everybody get that understood, we'll have an easier time going about what we need to do. Now, there's going to be a lot of people resistant to change. It's just what it is. But if you don't like change, which is always going to be inevitable in life, as long as you're living, change is going to happen. You don't have to watch. You don't have to tune in to what me and him got going on. There's other pages that you can go to. We're about growth here. Okay. With that being said, my first question: did you have anything you wanted to elaborate on?
no. As far as everything right now, I just want to say I appreciate you guys for tapping into the live, and I appreciate everything that you and I are currently building as far as ushering in and bringing in a new generation into a new understanding and shining a lot of light and illuminance to what's been in the dark for a very long time. So I'm very excited for us to finally dive in and really talk about the nits and grits of like what everybody's kind of been running from and kind of been in the dark about, honestly.
Yeah, it'll get crazier as we get down the line, in a good way. Um, Please, nobody, don't take this personal. This is just business. At the end of the day. Um, Once again, we're going to elaborate today on monetizing your creative energy. Okay. Um, from the chair to the cash register, to the kitchen, to the content creation, to the security purposes. We got so many ways of monetizing ourselves. But when you realize that you're actually exchanging your hours for a certain amount of money, that weighs on you, especially if you're a certain type of person.
Right,
Uh,
right.
and I want to get to the point where it's like, okay, what do you do? And how can we trade and barter our life force energy amongst one another, so that we'll be able to have a more fulfilled interaction with one another, because we know the money is, it's looking kind of weird out here, and everybody's doing cryptocurrency, and everybody doing this, and everybody doing that. But the one thing you really have control over is your life force energy. You might not make as much as the next person, but you got to look at your own basket. You know what I'm saying? Like what you got going on, and once you realize your talents and you become very good at your talents, utilize it. See who values it and act accordingly. Right now, hey man, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm supposed to be at work right now. Hey, and I hope y'all ain't mad at me. It is what it is. Y'all mad? You know what I mean? We'll deal with it when we get there. But the honesty of the situation, man, is man, I'm about intellectual freedom. You know what I'm saying? And I've had a certain number of events that happen in my personal life that stops me from being able to give as much as I really want to give. I have to pull back. You know what I'm saying? Because if I allow myself to get into a position where I'm just giving and giving and giving and giving and giving and giving it, I'm the type of person my back could give out. You know what I mean? I'm old, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's a wrap. And guess what? Once your back go out, they gonna look at you in the middle of the floor, gonna step over you, and then go look for the next person to replace you with. There ain't nobody gonna give you a baby tata. Your family gonna say a prayer for you. They're gonna drop you in that ground, and before they even get home, they watching TV. They doing this. They doing that. You know what I mean? And I love everybody, and I hope everybody love me too. But that just the realization, it ain't gonna always work out like that. So while you here, you need to be figuring out what is the best way to monetize your life force energy. Um, yeah, I don't want to dominate the conversation. Go ahead.
No, no, no. You good. You good. I mean, you honestly doing a really good job. I mean, just to kind of piggyback and elaborate further on what he's saying, like you want to live your life with purpose and you want to live it with full of meaning. And something that I found very interesting at a young age when I was kind of doing my time of learning and expanding my knowledge was this saying called memento mori, and it's pretty much eventually you're gonna die, right? And so during this between now and death, what exactly are you going to do to make your life more meaningful and more purposeful? And within this construct, the whole meaning of life is it can be very subjective, but at the end of the day, it really does come down to legacy. It does come down to purpose and creation and what exactly that you can leave behind for others to evolve and take the old, the ascendant, and the descendant and make it something entirely new. And with this podcast today, you guys are going to learn the very basic foundation of what the next 20, 30, 50 years, 60, 70 years of what's to come going to be officialized in front of you guys. We're going to tell you guys about what exactly you guys are kind of missing out on when it comes to the focus and the focal point of of how to live your life and how to center yourself. And we're about to get started in right now because I don't want to say too much before we officially jump in. So
So, me as a barber, let's talk about that. Um, Really, I could charge whatever I want. You know what I mean? But is it like right or is it feasible? Will people pay the amount of money that I want to, make for those hours or those 30 minutes or those 15 minutes, depending on whatever it is? I found that to be a very fulfilling um, job or career at the time because I had no other gifts that I really realized at that time, and it was one thing that opened the door because what I've noticed is like when we take these jobs, when we go to these places, is they're using it like, okay, how much can you give me? And I pay this same amount of money to you, no matter what you do. So you can be in reality, you could be the GM, you could be the general the leader of the front end, leader of the back end, the prepper, the cook, the dishwasher, whatever the industry it is that you're in. But at the end of the day, they're just looking at you ripping and running and doing all that other stuff, and they not get they we getting him at $17 we getting our money's worth. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like we need to keep him. You know what I'm saying? But like when you choose to say, "Hey, okay, I've proved to you that I can do these things," and I move in an effort where nobody moves like me, or nobody reacts like me, nobody learns like me, nobody implements the learning like me. They're like, "Oh, I don't know, man." Like I'm only making a couple $1 billion. I can't pay you all that, bro. You know what I'm saying? I got about 20 other employees I got on the same salary as you, so I gotta pay all them too. But at the end of the day, like, we are not those people. And as the price of living constantly goes up, it's not gonna go backwards. I remember back in the day, I'm 40. Back in the day, you used to pay 99 cents for a loaf of bread and a gallon of gas. I'm old. You know what I'm saying? What is it now? How much is a gallon of gas?
They're like 240 something right now.
Now, if you go to California, it's like $10. 10, right? How much they paying? 100K. Man, you can't even pay your rent out there on that. And Dallas is like that too. We're actually in Dallas right now, Dallas, Texas. Man, it's rough out here. So to make up for the stuff that I'm not getting on the front end when I have a 9 to 5, uh, I, security, I picked up that along the way. That was my first job. I utilized it as my, at my leisure whenever I get extra time to do it. I back door and I come back, learn how to cook, you know, prep cook. I ain't the best cook in the world, but guess what? I can feed you. You ain't gonna go hungry around me. I tell you that. And I put the groceries in the refrigerator to feed you. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, okay, as I got all of these skills, you only got so much time, right? And what you're trying to do is maximize your money in a small amount of time, you know? Because at the end of the day, people do want to go on vacation and actually live lives. You know what I'm saying? You do have a family that you're trying to make time for. But I'm one of those people that like I can never have enough money because I like to actually help people out or when you have when you have a kid, that's like 180K gone down the drain for 18 years. I don't know about y'all. That's a lot of money, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's necessity. You know what I'm saying? And not to be funny, I feel inadequate because you know what I'm saying, like the way that I am, I've always either been with a woman that has kids or I have my own set of kids as well. You know what I mean? And I'm a giver. So I'm like, I'm always gonna just be trying to, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you want this? You want that? Boom. Then you turn around, you're looking at that pile. That pile ain't got no bigger, it got smaller. Now guess what? I gotta go spend more time at work, let alone, you know what I'm saying? They say when you take a father out of the household, that's like 100K a month basically that you're missing. And I know it sounds crazy, but just the life force energy that goes into that house, everything that a father adds to that. Mothers are irreplaceable. Don't ever think that I'm gonna underestimate anything or any work that a woman does. But at the end of the day, a father is still chastain. You know the word I'm trying to say, and that's basically where when you get to learn your worth because this world wants you to be out here, wants you to be expending yourself like that. And like every time you get another body or soul on you, you just you're just selling your soul. You know what I mean? And I'm the first to admit, hey man, I was out here. You know what I'm saying? I was outside. But at the end of the day, we grow. We have to grow. If you don't grow, you don't change, you're gonna always either be in a rut or you're gonna cease to exist. Okay. So now going back to my original point is how we maximize and how we get more money for the things that we do is we have to look and actually see what are the things that we can do to make money while we're just living and existing. Okay. So everybody knows we have to go to people and work for them because they've already established the status quo for themselves for them to be able to create for other people, you know, by way of whatever it is. I'm not going to go into the history of the situation, but you know what it is. You know what I'm saying? We all know what it is. But we've been afforded some tools and things that our mother and our grandmothers and our great grandmothers have not been afforded, which is the ability to use these technology to bring views in to be able to be monetized and things of that nature, right? So this is one of the avenues that me and my friend came together and was like, hey, uh, this is something that we need to go and really look into. All of this that you see before you was it's like an onomatopoeia, man. I had this, he had that, so on and so forth. But today we're launching uh, a content creation business as well. So for $60 an hour, me and my friend here will provide you a space and a platform for you to express yourself and to be creative. This is called Dallas Content Hub. Now, in order to utilize that, you got to connect with us on whatever platform that you heard us say earlier, email, and all platforms that he used. And we can get with you. You can come in. We'll screen you, so on and so forth. Obviously, it's no smoking, no weapons. So it's a safe zone. You don't have to worry about, anybody messing with you or anything like that. But yeah, back to that original point. So I was making money as a barber, but there's expenses as a barber. You got to play for the play for the place that you you do your work at. You got to pay for your tools. You got to pay the state. You got to pay, for your business ID and all that other type of stuff. By the end of the day, you're left with crumbs. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't even paid your lights, your your rent, and all that other stuff that you have on your own. And if you don't have nobody on your side, man, you push today. Is a combination of things that God has given us to be able to be creative and to be able to get this point across to the public. Uh, you want to share one of your experiences of what you do and how do you monetize yourself?
Yeah, as far as like monetization, one of the things I definitely learned was to have a variety of skill sets. Obviously, DJ's been doing barbering, been doing culinary, been doing teaching and passing on knowledge for humanity for us to evolve and to further learn. But some of the things that I've done like throughout my time was pretty much just like utilize my talents, and for me that was like singing, but also doing like creative and technological talents such as like editing and setting up like this whole podcast stuff and using like photography, mediography, and videography, and like pretty much having a whole media team and learning how to use social media to like utilize brand imaging so you can not only take yourself from an idea of whatever it is that you want to be deep down, but to further expand that into a further realistic reality. Like for me, like growing up, I always like idolized being a R&B singer, and like throughout my time in high school and like middle school, like as I was like going through the ranks of like trying to figure all of this out, like one of my goals was like to be Googleable. So when you guys search up the FX on Google, you guys are able to like find me on Google, and I have a whole knowledge panel about me, whole biography, and like these talents is what pretty much opened my eyes later as I got older to help me understand how to cultivate business and take your talents and your skill sets to actually give something which is called value to people that are in business that have the finances and the capital to actually help you grow not only in your individual lives but for themselves as well too. And so learning how to use social media imaging and like using my talents in the studios, like being a producer, being a song engineer, being a songwriter. Um, what else I do? like I said, photography, videography, anything like technical, logical, like editing, like computer, like pretty much use all of those talents and gifts just to like pretty much make myself monetizable. I also have a YouTube channel that pretty much takes the development of younger men, and we're pretty much teaching them and growing them into how to become more masculine men so we can re-implement this frame going forward for the next generation so we don't get into a generation where we're facing a crisis in all-time low testosterone levels. We want to make sure that our men growing up for past the early 2000s, like the men growing up are going to be much more stronger than we are, much more bolder than we are, much more oh yeah, much more creative and like locked in than what we currently are right now. So
Amen. Amen. Um, what was I gonna say? Um, Let me ask a question. What's a piece of advice you've given a client that you realize is worth real money if you package it up?
um a piece of advice that I give a client.
Yeah. What's a piece of advice you've given a client? that you realize it's worth real money if you package it up.
And so pretty much like I had this one client that I was working with, and this was like in the studio. So like I was like 2021. So we had a studio out in Irving, Texas, and pretty much I had this one guy that was like a graphic designer, and like yes, he was making album cover arts for like artists around the city, but like he also knew how to like make stickers. And so like I told him like you should take the stickers and like put QR codes on them. So like whenever you slap them on like QT gas stations and stuff like that, people can like scan your QR code while you got the cool ass sticker, and they can just find you, and you can start making money like that. As far as doing photography shoots and creating more cover arts for artists around the city.
That's amazing, bro. Me, with my clients, everybody knows that who I cut their hair, you know, it's an experience, man. My barbershop is a wellness place. I'm gonna hook you up with water. I'm gonna hook you up with a drink or whatever you want, and we're gonna play something I call frequency music, that'll kind of like
Hell yeah.
let you relax, kind of reset you. So, women, when you let your man go get his haircut, don't rush him. Because guess what? Those other 23 hours of the day belongs to somebody else. When you go to the spa, you don't want to be bothered. Let's be honest. So, look at it like that. That's that man's reset. That's his time to relax and have a little therapy with the barber. I am a therapist, not by a piece of paper. But if y'all don't know, the barber knows everybody's business. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to sit here and say like, we gossiping or nothing, but when you see stress, you call it out. You know what I mean? Then God put it on me to become a person that people can rely on, that they can lean on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And my voice, I kind of was, not intimidated, but I was raised in a way where it's kind of like you just let things be. You know what I mean? So for me, in order to heal myself, I had to come to a point where I had to get comfortable with loving on me,
Yeah.
you know? And part of being able to be comfortable with loving on me is rehab, rest, and restoration, you know? And a part of that is herbs, part of that is frequency. If y'all see what's going on, like it's an uptick in crime out here. It's like everybody's going crazy. You know what I'm saying? And that's some information that I try to share with people because a lot of people don't pay attention to the small things in life. They only see the veil. There's a veil out there. And if you're not like to a point where you had to go through a whole bunch of crap just to come to a realization that the only way that you can get better at anything is to work on yourself, you're never going to get it. And all of this stuff together is a culmination of work that I do for myself. People put so much stress on themselves by themselves, and then they take on. Well, I'm one of those people that take on other people's stresses as well. So, by way of being an empath, you have to learn how to control that and be balanced. You know, and I've become very well transversed at that because I know how to more so just step back, reassess, reevaluate the situation. Is this really worth it? Is it worth it to go back and forth with this person in this situation? Is this going to inflame the situation, or is it going to be better for me just to not say nothing, or is it time to really call these people or those people out and you know, me, myself, God, they've had enough, and all their other victims or whatever the situation may be. But I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I self check better than anybody that I know. I will, hey, did I trip out? Did I do too much? Am I, you know what I mean? And then it comes to a point where it's a loop where you constantly blaming yourself. You start feeling bad because you're like, man, I know this person did this, but I could have handled that in a different way. Now you got to put your other hat on sometimes. You know what they call it, yin and yang, cause and effect. With that being said, you have to be able to understand that the only way that you can clear up a line of communication is to self reflect first. Go within, become peaceful, Learn how to spread love, not rumors and hate. Okay. With that being said, transferring that back over into the barber business, I show love. That lets people's guard down so they can be able to come to me and be like, "Hey, DJ, man, I seen you do this. How'd you do that, bro?" And not be so prideful about it. Just ask, because I'm gonna ask if it's something that I want to know. I'm gonna ask. And the people that try to gatekeep, man, you already know how I feel about the gatekeepers. I'm not gatekeeping nothing. If y'all want to come to me and ask me something, I'm an open book, and I read a lot of books. So understand what comes with wisdom is what comes with knowledge is wisdom. Over time, you start to teach yourself how to navigate certain situations, also how to persevere. Okay, perseverance is not built into everybody; it's forged by fire. Okay, so with that being said, I think that I picked up the perfect profession for me at the time, and I still do it. As you can see, I got the merch. If y'all want to buy it, you can, let me know. Y'all know where to reach me at. But I also have a YouTube channel, the the Shop with DJ's Fresh Face and Friends. I would like for you guys to tap into that as well on YouTube. As you can see, we're on Facebook and we're on Live Me right now, streaming live, and just talking about our situations. So, back to my question while I'm rambling is, yeah, I think for me, a lot of people don't realize it, but I be giving jewels, but the mind doesn't allow you to see it. Therefore, you just kind of like gloss over it and keep it moving. But you have to do the inner work to not get caught up in the mess that everybody else is getting caught up. This music and stuff that we listen to, you got to turn it off. Turn the TV off, turn the music off, go within. Because if you don't, you're going to find yourself in a situation where you're going to jail. You're getting tickets, you're getting arrested, you're getting this, you're getting that. They're called repercussions. I've been to prison before. I know what it feels like. I don't want to go through it again. I'm cool. I learned my lesson. I like to learn from other people's problems. You know what I'm saying? Let alone I self-reflect a lot too. So when I knew what I was doing, no matter what why I got there, I knew what I was doing. So it was a combination of karma that put me in that situation, but it didn't have to go down the way that it did. Okay, so point blank period. We're gonna sit here and talk about the frequencies. If you're really interested in it and you want to do the work, it's on YouTube. Go look it up. Take you some time and do some healing work. Get you some water, drink your water. You know what I'm saying? Go sit in the bathtub with some herbs and say some prayers. Talk to God. Talk to yourself. You know what I mean? We are little energies of God. And it tells you that in the Bible. You have to be understanding of what the metaphors are saying. Everybody can be a demon, everybody can be the devil, and everybody can live a God life. It's up to you how you want to do it. Okay. Um, yeah. So I don't trust local media. I'm gonna keep it real. Therefore, I don't partake in it because it's all bad, 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 bad. This positive media right here. Okay. So when we come together, everything that we doing is gonna be in a positive. You know what I'm saying? Shedding information, shedding knowledge. So moving on. I hope y'all got what I said. The thing that I could package up and give to someone else was doing the frequency work. Listen to different frequencies that are positive so you can help yourself heal and get better. Stuff is going to continue happening, but if you're not doing the positive work in order to put yourself in a position to self check when something happens to you, it's like when you get pulled over by the police. Guess what? That's his job. You can't get mad at the policeman for doing his job. Now, if he does something to you while he's doing his job that's out of line, what can you do? You have to get past that situation in order to get to somebody that might have a different way of thinking. Everybody ain't all bad and everybody ain't all good. When he pulls your, how you doing today, officer? Oh, I'm doing okay. Let me get your license and registration. Well, what did I do? Bro, wrong thing to do. Don't question the authority. Just go with it. Because guess what? He's more he's more apt to give you a way out of that situation than he wants to keep you in it. He deals with a lot of people on a daily basis that's probably 1,000 times worse than you are. And if you're doing the right thing, don't put yourself in the way to be knocked upside the head and being taken down for something that don't make no sense. Just go with the flow. Give him your information. If you ain't got it, take your ticket and move on, bro. Like it's not that hard. You know what I mean? Don't self sabotage just because they feeding you all this negative stuff. And if you know that this information is negative that they feeding you, turn it off. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to partake in it because I know I talk about prayer a lot. Yeah, you pray, 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 pray. That's a part of the situation, but manifestation goes a long way as well. You have the power to create every situation that you go through. You can control your environment by the way you talk and the way you think and the way you respond to certain situations. Don't let it overtake you. All right, moving on. Uh, from how is a way that you could say that you could protect your brand energy?
Protect my brain energy.
Yeah, like how can you be able to protect your life force and your brand energy?
Um, Now, as far as for like masculine figure, like some of the best ways that I protect my brain energy, and we're talking like personal energy too, like
Yeah, okay. So everything that you do is a part of your personal brand. Now, I'm not trying to tell on him, but my
yeah.
man's cleans the pool like nobody's business. The boy get busy with that pool, man. So I don't know if he done a Glock, ain't done on the Glock. You ain't gonna talk about that. But the man is an excellent pool cleaner. I know that. But he's also a great R&B singer. The EFFEX, the FX,
Yeah.
the FX. Check him out, man. Y'all gonna get a bang out of life. Y'all think Tory Lane's nice? My boy got something for you, boy. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna wake up tomorrow and put that XFX on again, man. You know what I'm saying? But he's one of the artists that I like to listen to. I also drop you some knowledge on some other people that I like to listen to is my boy Landrell. Super positive, you know, the beats are current, you know, and he spreads just so much just love. We have to learn how to love right again, man. Everybody was getting on Diddy because he said, "Man, spread love, spread love." Guess what? He was right. All that other stuff they put on him, I ain't got nothing to say about all that because I don't live that type of life, man. But when he
Yeah.
said that, I like you talking now. You know what I'm saying? And love doesn't have to be physical. You know what I mean? It's also kind of like grace. Let people the space to be themselves, to express themselves, because everybody they want this cookie cutter identity of where you supposed to be, what you supposed to do, where you supposed to go. No, man, you got to be yourself. I accept people like, oh man, I used to hang with a whole bunch of gang members. You know what I'm saying? It's where I grew up. But when I got out of that environment, I was like, okay, you just a goofy dude. You know what I'm saying? You gonna tell jokes all day. I love you for that. You know what I'm saying? If you're a super analytical person, I love you for that. You know what I mean? Not an antagonistic. Hey, I can't do nothing but love you. You know what I'm saying? I just can't be around you. You know what I mean? I gotta go ahead and move around and be, I gotta go drink some water and go do something else. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like you say, brand energy, man, is you know how they say your bond is your word,
Yeah.
your bond, a handshake, spoken word. That is what you put your life force energy in. You understand? Any kind of contract can be verbal, it can be written, it can be smeared as well. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't gonna go into that. The realization of the things is, do you stand on what you stamp? And is what you stamp positive for other people and yourself? You know what I'm saying? Like you say, hey man, I really put a lot of energy into this track right here. I'm loving the way that it's resonating within me. And I would appreciate it if you listen to this track, right? Everybody ain't gonna have the same ear. People got distractions and all that, but guess what? for a person that really respects the energy that you put into that music and then gives you an honest response, you can't do nothing but love the response. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it's like, okay, this is either gonna be constructive criticism or praise,
Yeah.
right? Nothing is gonna be all the way negative. You have to understand that. And if you're not open to constructive criticism, how are you gonna get better?
Exactly.
And you have to evaluate the type of people that you have around you that's telling you, is this, hey, is he keeping it real with me or he just hating? You know what I mean? How, what is my relationship with this person? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't want to see you be great, bro. Am I right?
I mean, he ain't say one lie here,
You know
so
what I'm
yeah.
saying? Yeah, the people don't want to see you be great, man. You can be really out here doing the most. Like Shakari Richardson. Let's talk about her. You know how great that girl is? She a little hood. She like to wear the weave with the different colors and all that stuff. But she can run. And when they try to say, "Oh, she sucks at running. She's this and she's that," and what she do? World championship after world championship, gold medal. And guess what? All the media that was sitting there smearing her. Excuse me, I'm out of here. She went and found the first melanated thing she could. She see that she had already been talking to, and she gave them her one and only interview. You know why? Because they was bigging her up and telling her that, hey, just get better. You're doing your thing. We respect you for being the person that you are, being a representation of us and your brand. And she gave them the interview. Stuff like that work, man. It's just that's just how life works. If you if you give me bad energy and all I'm doing is trying to create, when I finally get my stuff together, you think I'm gonna come back and holler at you? Yeah, excuse the interference. My boy's a busy man. Uh let's see. Well, so I'm gonna ask you this question. Is there any advice that you gave any of your clients that you realized was worth real money?
Oh shit, yeah, yeah. We already went over this question.
No, we
But
was talking about what's a piece of advice that you give a client that okay, yeah, we did go over that. My fault. Uh, when your brand is built on your personal energy, how do you keep from burning out? And how do you keep from burning out while still making bank?
um honestly, it really comes down to like scheduling and like keeping the law of rhythm intact. Like
Speak on that. What is the law of rhythm?
so like the law of rhythm is a universal law. Um
Ooh,
and pretty much like it explains that things happens in cycles, right? And you have to like find and understand like where you're flowing and what flow is. And so when you're like constantly moving around all the time, obviously we're all getting burnt out nowadays. And especially being here in America, it's all about work, 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 work. But then like we all get burnt out and then we get burnt out for like weeks or even months. And so using the law of rhythm, it allowed me to like identify on a daily basis, weekly basis, and a monthly basis on what exactly my energy levels are currently at. So if I get tired, then I can take a break and I can go chill out. And then
pull it up.
huh?
Pull it up so we can go over we gonna go over these universal laws because everybody's not aware of what the universal laws are. We could talk about it, but if we're not actually expressing the universal laws and making people aware of them, um, yeah, we can. Okay, it says the law of rhythm is a universal principle stating everything moves in cycles, like a pendulum swinging back and forth with natural highs and lows, ebbs and flows, and periods of action and rest. As periods of action and rest.
Yeah.
Rest, rest, rest. Seen in nature, seasons, tides, in human life, emotions, energy, success. Understanding this law helps you navigate challenges by recognizing that difficult times will pass, allowing you to accept life's temporary nature and find balance by going with the flow rather than resisting. It connects with the law of polarity, explaining that opposites are a part of the same continuum and that lows allow for appreciation of the highs. How you gonna know you having a good time if you ain't never had a bad one? Preach, preach. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like for real. Hey, ebbs and flows, ups and downs, highs and lows. They're gonna be there.
Yeah, so being busy all the time is just like, all right, bet. Like on those days where I get home, that's like the pivotal moment. Like, all right, what I'm going to do? I'm gonna shoot, or am I gonna go edit? I'm gonna go work on music. I'm gonna go work on this or that. But I mean, yeah, pretty much it's just like keeping a consistent schedule. Gut health is definitely important too because you are what you eat, and so if I'm putting good things into my body, then I know like my vessel is gonna be like optimized enough for me to like go out and do what I got to do all day without like actually necessarily burning out. But it also keeps my thoughts clean as well too. You know what I'm saying? Because eating junk food will disrupt your thoughts and give you a negative mindset. But overall, I mean, yeah, I just plan out my schedule, stick to my schedule, and then I don't force myself to do anything that I really don't feel like I can't do to right now in that moment. And that's how I keep myself straight.
Mm.
Yeah.
So let me remind myself what was the question.
Pretty much how do you
Protecting my brand. Okay. Um, so I'm a person that I wasn't really aware of branding my content at first, but it became to me that like I had like an energy around me, right? Keep
yeah,
this. I had an energy around me. Let's call it that. That they would look at me a certain type of way. And I would always be like, why are you looking at me like that? And it's like, okay, dang, I seen the light bulb go off in their head. So then it made me conscious of the light bulb. I'm like, oh, this must be important. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen seems to me every time I came up with an idea and expressed my idea. That's another thing we're gonna talk about. You got to start keeping your information inside of you so that you can utilize that information. You know what I'm saying? When you haven't hit your mark already, when you're in the incubator stage, because people will jump on your content and act like it's their own.
right,
They will totally ride your coattail without even your coattail being seen. And then when you come around the corner and then you're like, hey, wait a minute, I thought about that. Oh, just told it to the wrong person. Should have kept it to myself. Very important. Another situation is a part of manifestation is writing it out. You know what I'm saying? Instead of talking to somebody, write it out. Because guess what? You might not have the understanding of the idea at the moment, but the idea was downloaded within you to give you a leg up on your situation so that you can create more. Listening to the little voice inside of your head, that'll help you stay out a lot of stuff and it'll also help you create a lot of stuff. Okay. Some people, excuse me, some people they can't sit well with themselves because of the things that they do on a regular basis. When when you're constantly giving negative to this world, um, that little voice inside your head starts to dwindle, and then you want to drown your realities out with dopamine shots. When I say dopamine shots, it's stuff that instant gratification, whether it be sex, pills, powder, whatever it is. And now people are looking for. They all say, "Oh, we're gonna be on a zombie attack. We're on a zombie." The zombies have been here. You just don't know who they are. They're the people that's constantly feeling like they need to be up on dopamine. You know what I'm saying? So when you're up on the, you're not allowed. You're not even allowed to think clearly. It's no way. All you feel is euphoria or the longing for euphoria, and then that little voice in your head it doesn't ring true to you. It doesn't tell you to do the right things. Okay, so once I noticed that, I said, "Oh, I'm start keeping my ideas to myself." So I just start, um, copping certain items, just putting it to the side. I knew what I was gonna do with it, but for the untrained eye, it's just like, this dude's a hoarder. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Why you got all this crap in your area? You need to clean this up so you can change the aura. All that. Yeah, I might need to clean up, but guess what? That got a purpose. That has a purpose. This has a purpose, and that has a purpose. And then it comes to that point where it's like, okay, you can execute and hit your mark at your own time because nobody knows what's going on inside your head but you. You know what I mean? So yeah, I put my name on everything. You know how they talk about what that the Louisiana hot sauce. I put that on everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For real. Yeah, that's my Louisiana hot sauce. That's why I'm I'm presenting to you my name on my podcast, my hats, my clothes, my life. I just bring me, my essence to the world. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I keep my branding and keep my energy to myself because if it's constantly to a point where somebody can just jack this and steal this, and, run off with it or whatever. It's like a prime example. You remember that song, Rex on Rex on Rex, Rex on Rex on Rex? There was a story that came out, right? And there was a guy named Future, right? He was featuring on a dude named YC's song, right? So when it came out and it went viral, everybody was like, "Oh, that's YC's song," and that's YC's song. And after a while, it became, "Oh, that's Future's song." So YC came out and was like, "Hey, man, nah, I'm the one that came up with Rex. Rex is my song. Like, I did that." Ooh, ooh, ooh. Do anybody remember YC? Do we know who Future is? We know who Future is. Pluto. If you don't know, man, hey, man, I don't know what to tell you. But at the end of the day, man, the credit is gonna be credit where it's due. You know what I'm saying? Future knew he had the creativity to go above and beyond. He never argued with the man. Hey, you came up with racks on racks on racks. I'm finna come up with 15 more albums this year. How about that? You know what I mean? So yeah, you lose some, but within you losing things is a lesson to be learned. Protecting your brand. Sit there, take the time to go ahead and put yourself first. Step your brand with whatever insignia, whatever it is that you feel is important for you to make it known that it belongs to you. That's why I started putting my face, my merch, my name on everything. And if somebody was to say, I don't care, I mean, hey, have fun. But guess what? When you go in history books, say, "Oh, that DJ Fresh man, that boy, he come. Oh, tomorrow I might be DJ. You never know. I don't care because at the end of the day, nobody got this. Nobody got this. So if somebody tell you something about me, hey, I'd rather tell you before anybody else will. I'll tell you that right now. And if they're wasting their time to tell you about me, you might need to check me out, research me, come look me up, ask me yourself, because I'm gonna tell you the truth. I stand on truth and nothing else. You know, square business.
Business. Man, I hope you guys are enjoying the podcast, man. We appreciate you guys. First episode. So we got to get the little jingles and kinks out of here. But hey, episode 2 gonna be fire though.
Okay, let's talk about uh legacy and value. If like for me, if the shop was to disappear today, or whatever you name your business disappeared, um, let's see. What part of the vibe or knowledge would people still be able to access?
I mean, honestly, the creativity, like whether it's in the music business or whether it's like in the media business, as far as like the work ethic and what I can provide to somebody, as far as making sure that they can have some sort of direction and idea of where they want to take their business to the next level. I mean, even though we may not have the physical cameras no more, maybe we don't have the physical studio no more, I'm pretty sure there's still some way that I can be resourceful to you as far as making sure I can still help you get into doors and rooms that you probably potentially couldn't get into just based off of your own networking. But I can definitely say my network, creativity, and resourcefulness when it comes to getting things done and making sure that we can find a way to get it happening.
Mm. For me, um, asking myself the same question, I'm used to starting over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hate to do it, but that's when the fun really does start. When somebody think they can throw rocks, hide their hands, and take what I got, and so on and so forth. Because guess what? I'm a very blessed individual. I can't tell you why. I can't tell, I have an open line of communication with God. I talk to him in my sleep. I talk to him on my knees. I talk to him when I'm walking. I talk to him when I'm driving. I talk to him when I'm taking a poop. You know what I mean? Like everything, man. When I eat, right before I eat, like, hey, man, make this nourishment good for my body and not poisonous. That's why somebody try to poison me, it probably ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Because it's your mind controls matter, you know? So you might not have nothing to eat, but a certain substance, and God can make that nourishing for you based off of your relation and your understanding of the item. It could be spoiled or whatever, but guess what? If it go down, it gotta come out, at the end of the day. So another thing about life is a big part of it is it ain't what goes in your mouth, it's what comes out of your mouth. You have to control the things that you say and make most of the stuff come out positive. Positive, positivity, love, spread love. If you're sitting there and you're going about a situation and you really want it to manifest and you really want things to come into your reality because everything starts with an idea.
Yeah.
And if you have any thread of negativity around you, get rid of it or move away from around it because your number, like I'm almost positive, your best haters will become your number one fans based off of distance. They know you better than anybody else, and they felt that they didn't have this or they didn't have that. It's understood. I apologize you feel that way, but if you sit back and you peep how I do things instead of stealing from me or talking down on me, you would actually start to do the process of what I'm doing, which is called the inner work. Do the inner work.
Yeah.
Take the time to go through the dark night of the soul. That's what they call it. Okay, it ain't gonna. It's not gonna feel good. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie to you, but it's work that has to be done because we suppress so much energy on a daily. Somebody do this to me. You might be walking down the street. Somebody hit you with some rainwater off the side of the curb. You like you gonna stay there and cuss the car out all day long and be pissed off, or you gonna keep moving and go get some clean clothes. It's what you focus on that matters in the end. Because if someone does something to you, what can you do about it? This ain't the age of Aries where it's we're going to war. I kill you right here. Now, I move on. You know what I mean? No, we got the law. We got the law above the law. Then we got the law of the environment. So that's three different things you got to deal with, and karma and retribution. So you know what I mean. Only thing you can control is what you do in a situation. So make sure that your next move is your best move. So if you do have to deal with something, you're like, okay, I got the lesson from that. I see what you're trying to tell me, God. Okay, I need to move like this. Okay. And when it's time to, lash out publicly or do something, he gonna tell you. He gonna make it very, 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 very prevalent. He's like, nope. Nothing else in your life will move forward until you approach this situation and you put them on blast. You put that on blast, or you expose this. So people got to look. If you're out here doing bad to people, and and they ain't doing nothing, and you want to continue to do bad and continue to pile on and continue to do more and more and more and more and more, all you doing is building up your karma. Don't be mad when it come tumbling down back on you because God made that person react in a certain way in order for to bring your karma to activate your karma. And a lot of people hate Aquariuses, man, because we're not gonna sugarcoat anything, nothing. We're not. And I hate to say it's like a sign thing or whatever, but we it's known that we are the most spiritual sign. So if you do right by us, you'll be blessed. If you do wrong by us, mm, I don't know what to tell you because we're gonna endure and endure and endure and endure and endure until you know the high power say, "Hey, no, hey, no." no, 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 no. But most things work out. You just give it to him. Keep walking. Give it to him. He'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, we're coming up upon our time.
I'm gonna say it's about to be
Yeah, I see.
3:30.
Yeah, yeah, it's about that time. Let me see. I
Yeah.
think we touched on most things already. Just do a quick overview. It's the last question for today. Keeping it real profitable. How do you stay authentic in a world that wants to package and sell everything about you?
The very first and most important thing is knowing yourself. Like, if you completely do the inner work, like you've been talking about, and you spend that time to like really figure out who it is that you are and what it is that you like and what you are willing to stand for and die for, then knowing yourself is pretty much what's going to help you bring the most authentic version for yourself, and also is going to allow you to protect whatever it is that people want you to fall for and go for it on some dumb shit. You know what I mean? So definitely knowing yourself.
For me, I go off of intuition more than anything. I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes I'll swallow my pride and just say, I just need to get through this moment. And then something to activate where it's just like, nope, 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 nope. Oh, gang. Like for real. And then, I ain't trying to like bring up the old stuff. And I'm not talking about nobody specific, but I was doing this one job, man. And it's like, it's just piling crap on top of me and piling crap on top of me, piling more crap on top of me. And you know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm gonna do it. I can do it. I'm persevere. And then the straw that broke the camel's back was something very small. I'm not gonna lie. And the spirit kept telling me, "You need to leave this job. You need to leave this job." I'm like, "No, I can make manager. I can get more money. I can do it. I can do it." And then it was like, "Well, separate this and do this." I'm like, "Man, we need 100 of these for an hour. What is you talking about?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, "This ain't fun no more." This ain't fun no more. He's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, sure. Hey, send me my check. I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't do it no more. Breaking point. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, if you know it's not spiritually feeding you what you're putting into it, it's not giving it back to you. It's gonna come to a point where you're like, "Hey, enough." And then guess what? There's gonna come a time where you're like, "Dang, I need some money, man. I ain't making no money." Man, you gotta have trust in God. You know what I'm saying? If you don't trust in God, you don't trust in yourself. You know what I mean? Your life force energy is the most important thing. Once they work you until your back is out, it's over. You
Nah,
can't get you
facts.
can't get no you can't get it back. You might as well go ahead, get ready to meet your maker. Cause guess what? Ain't nobody finna sit there and feed you. Ain't nobody finna wipe your booty. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody finna give you no companionship because your value is over and done with. It's a wrap. Might as well call it a life, you know? But as long as you got breath, you got a chance, you know. God might send you a guardian angel, and you better appreciate him. Because if you don't, it's a wrap. But yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in to DJ's Fresh Fades and Friends. It's called The Shop with DJ's Fresh Fades and Friends. I think this is a very, 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 very good podcast for it to be the first one. I hope that you enjoyed the content. We're gonna bring you much, much more. And like I said, uh, we're gonna give you the link to tap in with the Dallas Content Hub, and from that point, we can make arrangements in order for you to come and create for your own self, and we will edit and you know videography and everything of that nature. For all my viewers on Live Me, I really appreciate you guys watching us in the background and being a part of our first podcast. I'm sorry we weren't more interactive. We're just showing what we had going on. YouTube, we love you. This is DJ's Fresh Fades, and this is
It's the FX.
signing off.
How you feel? But you got that first one in the book.
Oh my! Stop it, Flop.
All
Oh my, oh my. Why am I thinking my computer is touchscreen?